Tell you a little bit more about Parable Dance. I co-founded Parable with Erica Moshman in 2019, and we have a team of artists that are working with us, including, very importantly, dancers with disabilities. We set Parable up to provide an opportunity for creativity for people with disabilities through dance, and we really have a focus on community engagement, but also chances for progression, especially for dancers with disabilities. We're based primarily in the southeast in the UK, and at the moment we're developing a really exciting partnership with Southeast Dance and Carousel to set up weekly classes for adults and young people based in Brighton. As well as that, we have a really big focus on training nationwide for aspiring inclusive dance artists and dance teachers. And in line with our passion for dance education and supporting dance artists, over the past 6 months we've been busy making a film, and our film features 42 inclusive dance artists from around the UK, and that includes representation from 23 of the inclusive dance companies based around the country, and the film has been funded by Arts Council England. We're really excited to share the film, which will be available for free on our YouTube channel. The main highlights have absolutely been the people I've met along the way. So the artists that I've learnt from and worked alongside, the people I've mentored, and the many dancers that I've met over the years. Having the opportunity to develop education and training programmes has been a definite highlight. I worked for Magpie Dance for 16 years, and highlights there included writing an inclusive dance training course for them and also working as co-artistic director. Another highlight would be the prestige of working for some incredible organisations on their education teams, including where I started off at Canduco Dance Company and currently being on the team for Sadler's Wells and the RAD Step Into Dance. Another really recent highlight is I've become a trustee for an amazing charity called Dance Syndrome. And of course, co-founding Parable Dance is the ultimate highlight, looking what we've achieved in such a short space of time. We started in 2019, and I really wish actually that I'd been brave enough to do this sooner. It's the biggest decision, but the best decision that Erica and I could have made, and I'm really proud that inside a year we've achieved so much. So we've had some goals that we set out to achieve, including paying dancers with disabilities, also connecting with a lot of other people in the industry, and managed to do both those things inside a year. So we've really had to pinch ourselves at the achievements that we've made so far, and we're really excited about the future plans for the company. Things that I learnt from my experience as a student at Trinity Laban, and of course those have impacted my career massively. Having the chance to study with legends like Valerie Preston Dunlop, Val Rimmer, Susan Settler, Gary Lambert, all under the watchful gaze of Dr. Marion North. I'll never forget actually the day that she rang me personally to encourage me not to give up. I had an injury which was close to making me quit, and it was quite a moment when she rang me. I was and am still overwhelmed by the incredible teaching that I received. I had my eyes opened to lots of different directions that I could take in my career, but a big turning point for me was in my third year when I decided to explore my interest in inclusive dance, and I joined Canduco's youth company Candu2, which was newly formed, and decided to write my dissertation about their work. And I worked on that with my tutor Val, and it completely set the focus for my career. I guess I survived the gruelling training and injury because I shared a lot of laughs along the way with my friends, and I've left with lasting friendships with my dear friends Chloe and Sarah. We lost Sarah a couple of years ago to cancer. She would have loved that I'm returning to speak as an alumni, so I can't let this moment pass without mentioning her. And also losing her is one of the key turning points actually for me, really pulling my socks up and diving into the unknown of having my own company, because life really is too short. For students who might be interested in inclusive practice as a career path would be to watch our film. So the main aim of the film that we are creating is to offer advice to emerging artists who are starting out in inclusive practice. So this really would be an ideal place to start. In the film you'd hear from dancers from all over the UK, from lots of different companies, and it will give you a chance to think about what really interests you most and where to turn next. My next advice would be to reach out and connect with some of those artists and companies who interest you, and look around in your community and find other artists and companies that interest you and get involved in their work. So many different artists who inspire me. I think working in inclusive practice, one of the key ways of working involves team teaching. So I'm really lucky that I've had a chance throughout my career to learn from the people that I teach with and constantly developed my own practice as a result. I couldn't answer that question without giving a special mention to my ultimate mentor and close friend, David Nurse, who I had the pleasure of teaching with and learning from for 10 years. I have connected with so many different incredible dance artists for the film that we've made. I definitely say that everyone who features in it really inspires me, especially artists like Adam Benjamin, who co-founded Canduco Dance Company, and Jem Blackwell, who's a dancer with Down syndrome, who founded Dance Syndrome. Just the fact that every artist who features has clearly had their own really inspiring journey advocating for inclusion within dance, and their passion for that work is really phenomenal. Other artists, I've lost a load of work because of the pandemic. All of my teaching and mentoring, that's all on hold. But I've always made sure that I've had a few different strings to my bow, and the education work that I developed for different organisations has been able to continue. So I've been really fortunate. I've noticed definitely during the pandemic that people are connecting more, and that's what we really wanted to harness at Parable with our film, to really make the most of everybody working virtually, and also the fact that the arts really do have a collective voice. I think if it wasn't for the pandemic, we wouldn't have considered working in that way. It started because at the beginning of the pandemic, I literally found myself reaching out to more people just to say hello, just to connect with others in the industry. I guess beyond COVID, I'd like to hope that the arts community will stay even more connected and supportive as we try and rebuild as much as we can. Perhaps we'll even come back stronger, I don't know. But I definitely think there's going to be more flexibility for making collaborations over distance. An example of that at Parable, we've got an exciting project coming up where we're going to be working with dancers in Lancashire, with me based in Brighton and Erica in New York. So everything seems more possible. My advice on remaining resilient and keeping your career adaptable as a freelancer, which seems especially key in the current climate, is to be open to having a number of different specialisms, to pushing yourself to diversify, and always trying to work for several organisations at once if you can. To be resilient and feel happy and in control of your future, remember that it really is in your own hands. A wise friend once said to me, have a mentor, be a mentor, and I think that is so true, and I live by it. Passing on your learning to others, but also always looking to grow yourself too. For my career feels quite exciting at the moment. I'm loving my education roles. I'm loving taking up ad hoc opportunities with different organisations and doing those things alongside my work for Parable Dance. In terms of Parable Dance's future, we've got lots of plans which involve supporting emerging dance artists, and hopefully our weekly classes starting in Brighton in 2022. I'll be really excited to share all of our plans as they become clearer, so do give us a follow on social media to find out more about those.